poppin', everybody? It's your boy Armon. We're back with another video. Get in here, everybody get in here, because we got to get into some things, all right? So I'll tell you this. T.S. Madison was on The Breakfast Club. Now, mind you, we've talked about her going on The Breakfast Club before many times, right? And I didn't know that she was actually going to be on the show. And so when I seen the promo and I seen that she had actually, booked it, I was so excited and I could not wait to watch it because I just knew that it was going to be a great show. And so when when it came out, the first thing I looked at was the time. And I said, ooh, this is over an hour. This is going to be good. It was like an hour and 6 minutes, an hour and some change. But to me, once you get if you get like an hour slot, it's going to be a lot to talk about. It's going to be a good show. You know what I mean? You can tell by the length of time what we're going to get into. If it's 20 to 30 minutes, it's probably not much to talk about. And it's probably going to be like, all right, thank you. Now on to the next guest. However, T.S. Madison had over an hour on the show, which I thought was awesome. Now, I was very, very impressed with her interview. I was very impressed with her interview. I was very, very, very impressed with her interview. T.S. Madison did what needed to be done. She represented herself well. And I feel like she also represented the LGBTQ community well. And I think that she represented the transgender community well. And I also think that she represented people that come from social media very, very well. And I'll tell you why. The first thing, I think that she represented herself well, because I felt like she was able to get up there and allow people, to get to know her. And I think that whatever guards maybe they may have had at the Breakfast Club, they were let down. They really kind of got into her and she was able to gain new fans, I believe. I feel like a lot of people that may not have known who she is now, with just her personality and the way that she was talking, you can see why so many people gravitate to her and fall in love with her. She truly is a genuine person, and she is one of those people that you'll just sit and talk to for hours upon hours upon hours. She's a good-spirited person, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like you got to kind of feel that warmth from her that so many people, that love her, feel from her. So I thought that was dope. And so I think that she represented herself well because, she was still TS, to the fullest extent, to the fullest degree, but she was very professional and very, very charismatic during that conversation. And you can tell that she's really, really grown and she's really stepping into new spaces and new heights. And it's really, really sickening if you ask me. And I also think that she represented the transgender community well, because the transgender and the LGBTQ community well, because she didn't go in there dragging Boosie and dragging Dave Chappelle and dragging DaBaby and dragging straight people for disagreeing or not accepting or not liking gay people. Her whole thing was, and I think it is very, very clear, and I think it was very, very important, very and powerful as well. Her whole thing was, listen, you don't have to accept anything that I do. You don't have to accept me being a transgender, but respect me. And I think I was glad that she did that, and I was glad that she said that, because there's so many people, heterosexual people, that feel as though all gay people, whether you're trans or just guy on guy, whatever the case may be, they feel like, well, why does gay people try to make us accept their lifestyle? Like, we don't have to accept the fact that you're gay. We don't have to approve of it. And somehow people think that we as gay people are looking for that approval to be accepted. And that's not what it is, because we all share this earth, right? So I don't need you to accept who I am. I just need you to respect who I am. And I think that was very important that she conveyed that message. I'm not here for you to accept me. I don't give a damn if you accept me, as long as I accept myself. But you will respect me, and I think that was made very clear. And I think that was that was just so important for her to say. And I was glad that she said it. You know what I mean? Because I think that was a gray area that needed to be said and made very clear. There was another area that needed to be made clear. And I was so happy that she said it, because when we get into this conversation of transgender and Dave Chappelle and DaBaby and Boosie and all of these things and gay people, there's often this divide of, well, black people do X, Y, Z in this, and that LGBT community is X, Y, Z in this. And you can't say anything about the LGBT community because then you get canceled. But what about black people? Black people don't have any rights. The LGBTQ community have all the rights. And I'm so glad that TS said this, because she was like, well, hold on. Because it almost seems as though, you know, some of the people over here, the black people, the Dave Chappelle's, whatever, whoever, they think when they start saying this, well, black people don't get in the LGBT. Well, sir, ma'am, whoever you are over here, are you negating the fact that there are black queer people? There are black transgender people. There are black gay people. So not only am I black as a man, Armon, I'm fighting being a black man in society. So that stuff that you guys talk about over here, those rights that you talk about, I fit into that category too. I'm black. But the other category I fit into is that queer category. So, you know, those people that you guys hate over here, I'm fighting that fight as well. So I'm black and gay at the same time. So that's a double whammy. You know what I'm saying? And so oftentimes a lot of gay people, that we get kicked to the curb because it's like, well, you're LGBT too. And it's like, nigga, no, I'm black too. And I'm not one or the other first. I'm them at the same exact time. And so I thought that was very important for her to say, because oftentimes I feel like there's a message that gets lost because everybody's talking about what black people get versus the LGBT community get, as if there aren't any black people within the LGBT community. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and I thought that was great that she broke that down. Even in regard to the Boosie situation, I thought it was dope how she talked about, well, how does Boosie have a problem with Lil Nas X, but Boosie is the same one that has women giving fellatio to his underage child. Now, Charlamagne, while I like Charlamagne, he tries to act like he's so oblivious and don't know what's going on certain times. And Angela Yee, she was cool too, but I could tell when the Boosie conversation happened, they were kind of like, Madison would say that, and she's had to say it almost 3 times because they would just kind of keep going with the conversation. Nobody would really acknowledge that point, which was sending me, because they would not acknowledge the fact that Boosie did that. Instead, they would let her land, and then they would just continue on with another topic. And it's like, no, acknowledge that that man did that. Acknowledge that that was on film. We talked about it. Acknowledge that he admitted to doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that was interesting. But, you know, that was cool. And speaking of something else was interesting, like, I don't know whether he was there or not, or if he stepped out or whatever. But when the interview first started, they said that DJ Envy had to step out. I don't know why he had to step out. I'm hoping he wasn't there, because if he stepped out because he didn't want to be in the room with Tia, I think that that's the fool. But I don't know. I don't want to say, you know, they had another interview after. So we'll see if he was in there for that interview. If he is in there for that interview, I feel like that was very late. He should have been there for the T.S. Madison interview. But I don't want to judge Envy yet, because I don't really know if that was the reason. Maybe he was off that day. Maybe, you know, but I don't know. But something about that didn't feel right to me when they said that, oh, Envy had to step out. But, you know, I don't know. So I don't want to jump to any conclusions here. So yeah, in regards to the trans and LGBT community, I think Madison did her thing in representing us. And I say that to say I'm so glad that TS is in this space now, because while she's growing and while she's doing her thing outside of those spaces, I'm glad that outside of these like urban kind of spaces, I'm glad that she's here, because in this no shade, we need more transgender voices like her that are in the grit, that are a little bit raunchy, that are with it. You know what I mean? That are not as polished, but polished in a sense to where they're getting to the bag and they know how to maneuver through the industry and build wealth and success. But they're not too, you know, hoity-toity to where they can't really come down and meet the people. And I'm glad that she's that girl, because the only other girl that they were using for those spaces in those conversations was Flame Monroe. And I think that while Flame Monroe can be great at what she does and she serves her purpose, I'm just glad that now T.S. Madison, now Flame Monroe does not have to be the only one, because I don't feel like Flame Monroe is even a piece of a representation for, the LGBTQ community or the transgender community. So I'm glad that we have a real respectful, person that can now be the voice and be a spokesperson and in those spaces, for the community. And Madison also made it very clear that, hey, this is just my perspective. But I think in her perspective, she didn't throw the community under the bus just to appease the heterosexual people. And I just think that that's the difference between her and Flame Monroe. Flame Monroe will come in on her interview and immediately say, "Oh, I found out I seen Bootsy in the green room," and it was like, girl, you just want to make it very clear. I'm Team Boosie. I'm this. Yes, those gays don't get it. Da, da, da. I'm a he. It's just like, I'm so glad that T.S. Madison was able to go up there, hold her own, be a personality, be herself, but she didn't have to throw the community under the bus to do so. You know what I mean? It really goes to show that you can still be yourself and be respected as such, and get into spaces without having to tap dance and allow yourself to be disrespected just to say that you're in a space. So I was very, very proud of her. She held her own with that. And I'll be honest, she even, was very clear about things that, she has let go of. She let go of, using the word terminology fish. But I think that was very clear. I love when she even went and represented that. She talked about how, a lot of women, Black women particularly, and just women, and just, we can even just go society. All these women have adopted our lingo. Everybody wants to be tea. Everybody is spilling the tea. Everybody is throwing shade. It's this, it's that. But they don't, while they want to take our vocabulary and brand it and trademark it and all of these things, however, you don't realize that, okay, you don't get to pick and choose what part of the vocabulary that you're okay with. Fish is also a part of that same vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Fish is definitely a part of that same, that whole tea and throwing shade. What's the tea? Tea time and da-da-da-da-da. Fish is a part of that vocabulary. And I'm glad that she made that clear. Now, she did say that, she doesn't use it because a lot of women don't, fool with it. But, I understand what she's saying, but ain't nobody going to make me stop using the word fish. But I guess she's growing into different spaces. And I understand it. But no one is going to make me stop using words that, it's not even an insult. It's not even designed to be offensive. It's actually designed as a compliment. So to me, if you're not intending something to be an insult, I'm not going to stop using it, because I don't use fish as a derogatory term. So for me, no one's going to make me stop using it, especially a lot of these women are going around using our vocabulary in the first place. All right. So that's that. She made that very clear. She even talked about Sydney Starr, and Madison, to me, what I was living for through this whole time, she was being very, very open about everything. She was dropping the names and she was saying what she needed to say. I thought she was going to tap dance around the Sydney Star piece, but she did it. She really did not hold back. She did not tap dance around the Sydney Star. She gave Sydney Star constructive criticism, and she gave Sydney Star love. She didn't tap dance around the Flame Monroe. She said Flame Monroe was necessary. I agree that Flame Monroe was necessary, but she also said I don't agree with everything that Flame Monroe say or do. And I respected the fact that she said that as well. She even mentioned Khia. She said that Khia is talented, but Khia didn't want to grow. And honestly, I do believe that. I do not believe that Khia wanted to grow. If we go back and we look at the trajectory now, T.S. Madison has won. Okay? T.S. Madison has beat Khia. All right? She is doing the movement and moving into spaces and places and really, leveling up. And this is why I say, she did her thing as a content creator too, and a person on social media, because I'm literally proud of her. Like, I'm proud of her, and she's done bigger things than the Breakfast Club. Like, I'll be honest, being on, RuPaul's Drag Race is huge. Being on, movies and all these, writing books, and she's done a lot of things. But for me, this to me really was a good moment, like a problem for me, because I'm like, this is why I wrote this bitch down on my vision board, because she's really showing me and us as creators the way to move. See, a lot, and they had a conversation, and this is something that I have been struggling with. I've been struggling with for a minute about, you know, the Queen Supreme Court and kind of like, you know, that kind of world and what that looks like, talking about people. And she said, you know, something, and she's told me this over on the phone before. You know, she brought up Wendy Williams. There comes a price with that purple chair. It will tear you apart. Yeah, you're talking about people, you're making that money, you're doing that gossip, but at some point, it breaks you down, and it doesn't matter who you are. And for me, I find myself sometimes in that space where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I know a lot of us on YouTube, we see certain people, you know, that do break stories or do this, and we think, oh, they're just the biggest thing. They're just so great. And it's like, when I see TS and the way she's moving, it's like, she's bigger than all of these girls that's doing it. Like, TS is really showing the girls, if you really sit back and get into it, she's showing the girl, okay, you got into the mess, now you got to get out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't get stuck in that space, and she's figured out the formula, and it's up from here. And I think that I was very proud, and to me, it made me feel like this is why I wrote this bitch down on my vision board, because she's really moving into the spaces, right? And it inspired me to continue. She continues to inspire me on how to move and move better. Like, I don't know. I was very, 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 very happy. I mean, TS really did her thing on this. So, and I think that they enjoyed her at the show. And then the biggest thing was, you know, as a member of the LGBT community and as a trans and just a person coming from social media, when she got up there, it wasn't all about Khia, and it wasn't all about Dave Chappelle and the baby and this. And they talked about it. They got into it. Of course, we wanted to know. They even talked about, you know, how they would laugh at Charlemagne and call Charlemagne the everlasting goddess. All of those things. But at the end of the day, when she left there, guess what? You know, we knew that she had a Netflix movie coming out with Gabrielle Union. We know that she's in a Universal picture film. We know that she's got a television show on We know that she was in Zola. We know that she's working. She didn't just get up there to come up there and gossip and be famous and No, she went up there to get into some things, but then she's also letting you know all of these things are happening, and I'm booked and busy. I've been in New York for weeks, and you guys didn't even know because I've been filming. So I live for that, because it was like, yeah, girl, this is not my first stop and my last stop. Like, I'm here because I'm in the area because I'm really working. You know what I mean? I want to be here, but I don't have to be here because I'm getting to the bag regardless. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people go up to the Breakfast Club and they're like, I'm at the Breakfast Club, and they have nothing else to talk about. They have nothing to promote. They have nothing, you know what I mean? However, TS went up there, got into the mess, but then had some work that she was promoting. She just, bravo, I get it. I live for it. It was everything. And then she, in true TS fashion, she even got nasty. You know, TS, she loves to talk, get a little raunch. But I was okay with that because I got everything else that I needed. So I think that it was a great interview. I think that this will open up a lot of people's eyes to TS, and I think that a lot more people will put more respect on her. And for me, I'm very proud, and I think that she did her thing on this. So I think that was a great representation of the community. I think it was a great representation of the transgender community. I think she did had a great representation of herself, and I think she had a great representation of people from social media coming into mainstream. So shout out to TS Madison. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until next time, I want you to keep that same energy, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.